Now, now there's two seams from this line here. There's two seams because you're coming in this part here. Two seams.
The dart goes in. You got.
This is the chest dart.
Chest dart. You got to stitch it in.
So
that goes in two seams.
Now I was telling you. Remember, I was explaining to you a fat man.
Yeah.
If you cut out a jacket for a fat man, big. If you don't do something, it's going to just skirt out, and the whole thing will look too big. So what I do is,
if you think because the jacket goes over his belly and it just comes out.
So from this point here,
he does something different.
I swing it back this way, from here, swing it back like this, like that, and I'll mark this here to reduce the skirt along the end.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that.
That's what I do. Okay, you learn this because there's a lot of fat men coming to you. So you have to do something to make them look good.
Get some fat friends, Grok.
And so you take this amount off, right? And you do the same with the side body. You swing it in, but in the side body, there's the side body there. Yeah. No, so yeah.
There's the side body.
On the side body, yeah, you do the same. So you would do the same here, and you'd have it this way, and you'd swing it in this way. You see?
Because this is attached to the front rim, and the side body is.
But you have to, whatever you take off here, you have to leave on here. Otherwise, the seam here will look like there's some part missing. That's the way you have to think of it. So it's a problem if you're going to go into tailoring, you will come across, especially in the United States where you have big men. And it's something you just have to do.
Unless I go to Japan.
These all skinny guys.
Well, you do get some fat men there as well.
Yeah. Mr. Worldwide.
Mark the gorge line. Where's have you got a big ruler?
A big roll, yeah.
Square,
I've got a square. Do you know? Can you get my square? My grading square. I've got a big roll. And get that long, the plastic square behind. No, behind.
Well, any big ruler square. Really. I want a long ruler. Anyway.
Oh, long ruler.
Yeah, long ruler.
How long do you want it down? I've got a meter ruler. I've got.
No, just
is that fine?
Yeah. Just,
I've got. It's fine. It's fine.
Just it's really not the gorge line.
Yeah.
Or the
bright line.
Bright line, yeah.
So Grok, if you look at this, quickly show. Look at my jacket there. I'm just asking David about this because aesthetically, Dave was saying when you look at something right, it shouldn't be too low or too high. And some Savile Row, you see this is what we call a gorge line. It goes right up high. You'll see it, and that you see it right up near the shoulder. So that's that aesthetically, your eye is looking at there, and it's usually about 3 inches down. So this is if you measure there today, usually this is your gorge line, where your collar's going to be stitched to the lapel. This is on average around 3 inches. That's on average. So David always kind of sets it around 3 inches down. That's where aesthetically pleasing. That's where. See, so I was asking about that, but on double breasted, these peaks it goes a bit low because of the angle. So now this will be about 4.5 inches low. That's what this is doing now.
Now I'm cutting this wide just in case I have to give him a gorge cut. Gorge cut is a seam you take. I think slightly more. I think this measurement is fine. Now you would put a dart, say, between this point and this point here, depending on how wide you want the lapel. So this lapel here is going to finish at about 4 3/8 inches. So the ideal point would be halfway here. You put it. So, and you angle it down rather than across.
To the chest point, don't you?
Yeah. Well, not exactly.
Not exactly.
That would bring it out too far.
Right.
So it has to be under the lapel. So you don't want it sticking out under the lapel.
So it's got to be hidden under the lapel, but it will kind of point to the chest, wouldn't it?
No, it doesn't. It's not to serve the chest. It's to serve the lapel. This dart is taking material out of the lapel. It's nothing really to do with the chest.
But I thought it's supposed to shape
women
at the
it's
top.
different.
Right.
You see? Not for men.
Right.
See? No, you're taking. If you have a big chest, material is going to stick out. So you need to take it out.
Yeah,
And the only way
the
to take it
excess.
out is a dart
Yeah.
underneath. And that flattens the whole thing. So
But
this is the practice.
for women's, David, would you point that dart to the bust point? Because that's
Yes,
what I do.
yes.
That's fine
Yeah.
then.
That's a different. See, you're trying to solve a different problem that way.
Yeah.
So this goes out slightly. So if I have to take a dart out of there, that's the way I would take it. And I'd only go about an inch and a half or an inch and a quarter beyond that point, behind the
Where the
crease line is.
roll line is.
So I don't know if he does want this, if he'll need it. So I'm not going to do it in the first fitting. I can do it in the second fitting.
Okay.
It's in for the second fitting. So I'm just going to.
Will you do that if his lapel is gaping? Then you'll
Yes,
do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're nearly there now. So I'm going to put the dart. I decided I'm going to put the dart. Which way now? I had to work out in my head. So the seam will come here.
Because sometimes you said you don't want to disturb that stripe. Sometimes
that's what I'm trying to work out in my head.
It sits next to the
You're
stripe.
talking to me.
Sorry. Sorry, David.
So to the stripe. So if I cut it, see what? Yeah, I'm going to cut it there. Yeah. Now, I'm thinking that this dart is too close for a double-breasted. I'm going to move it out to here. See, that's where it was on the pattern. But for the
But sometimes they'll go in the middle of that. You don't at all.
well,
Sometimes they'll go in the middle of the welt.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I will actually. Yeah, I'm looking at it there now. It should be actually from this point, the front dart. See, I've moved it forward, so
That's your net
technically-
point.
See, that's where it should be.
The net point, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't. It's nothing to do with the pocket.
You're right. But aesthetically, they usually put the dart in the middle of the welt, don't they?
That's
That load of
codswallop.
codswallop.
You like codswallop, do you?
So another 2 fingers up to Savile Row then.
Well, it's
And those Rockavine tailors.
well. There's no Rockavine in Savile Row. It's rubbish. That guy never worked in Savile Row. Don't care what he says. So we need the dart to finish about here. See, I'm going to have a seam coming down here, so I don't want it too close. Although when I was looking at huntsman suits, the darts were right up here,
Really?
and I think they interfere with the pocket.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So
See, remember we were doing the darts
Yeah.
on the trouser grock. Remember, so I put it 3 inches down because the bubble. Remember, you
Yes.
got to ease it. You got to shrink that extra ease. This is what will happen if you put the dart right up to the pocket. You're going to get all this extra, like on the back pocket. They put the dart. The dart will lower on the back pocket. It'll go past it, and you'll see all this crap, all this extra. You can't ease it out. So,
No,
so we'll do that anyway next week.
for a double-breasted, you have to. It actually comes more of a slope down, as well. So it's something that you have to think about when you're.
Yeah, on the front, your chest, when you're drafting the pattern for the jacket, the front actually it dips lower. So now, this front is lower at the edge, and it has a slope back up. So it actually goes lower the front, and then it goes back up. Okay, if you look at this, you'll see.
See, I
So
come
David's
down-
sloping
I
it.
come down because when the person is standing,
Yeah,
the front will actually come up.
yeah.
When they're standing up. So you have to come down to
Yeah.
augment that. Now, but when you come to the very end, you have to straighten it up very slightly because you don't want it to be peaking down. See, just at this, about 3.5 to 4 inches, you come up, you straighten it up very slightly, like that. Okay. So that's your front. So that's the inlay here.